please.
First of all, I would like you to tell some words about the day you met Shafranik.
Goodness. Sorry, stop. I can't remember what. Okay, let me start again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I first met Yuri, well, when I was Minister for Energy in the UK. He had just become Minister for Energy in Russia, and there was something about him. We both got on together immediately, even though I speak no Russian and he speaks no English. Somehow the interpreters didn't matter.
So, what did you do together for humanity in those days when a barrel of oil cost about $9?
Well, of course, it was an extraordinary period. He was doing in Russia what I had to do in the UK, which was in the UK we had completely privatized, sold off the coal industry, closed a lot down. We thought that was a very brave thing to do. Compared with what Yuri Shafranik had to do in Russia, it was nothing. We were employing a fraction of the number of people that was employed in mining in Russia. He was dealing with a communist system. I was dealing with a capitalist system, albeit not a very good capitalist system. So I just marveled at his ability to change things, and to change things in a reasonably coherent and conciliatory way. That's a very difficult thing to do in politics under any political system. So then we both had to deal with the issue of the oil price, the very low. Everybody forgets the oil price, as you said, $10 a barrel, now $100 a barrel. Life looks very, very different. So the challenges that he had with the oil industry, which was a Russian oil industry that was losing money, not making money, were formidable. And what I liked about Yuri was that I think politicians around the world, this isn't Russia, this isn't the UK, it's everywhere in the world, they divide into two groups. About a third of politicians believe in doing things, in implementing things, in taking courageous decisions and seeing them through. About 2/3 of politicians believe in making speeches, believe in presiding, believing in looking good on television. And to me, Yuri always wanted to do things, and his judgment was extraordinary, and the challenges he faced in Russia, I think, were far greater than I can think any other politician faced in any part of the world in the energy sector.
What are important human and professional qualities that you value in Shafranik?
I think Yuri, of course, is an oil guy. I mean, there he was, I think in his late 20s. He always tells me about how he was a young general director. He was given the task of developing a new oil field, something that is very unusual for people in their 20s anywhere in the world. So he's a doer. He's somebody who rolls his sleeves up, likes getting things done, and doesn't just say, well, I'm going to make a speech about it. Yes, he makes a speech about it, but then he makes sure that it happens. I think that's the most exceptional thing. I think the other thing is that he's one of the very few politicians, again, anywhere in the world, I'm not talking about just the UK or Russia, who, having been very successful in politics, has then gone into business. And he has been a very successful businessman, yes, in Russia, but also, and I have to say, amazingly, in London, in Syria, in all over the world, in Colombia, Algeria, he's Uzbekistan. He's made investments, and his judgment about what made economic sense and political sense has been extremely good. And so he's one of the very few Russian businessmen who have been successful in a pure Western economy outside Russia. And again, I don't think that people fully understand that.
So now you can say for sure, Shafranik is an oil manager only purely of Russian or global level?
Oh, international level, without a doubt. I mean, indeed, I think one of the exceptional things is that, you know, many Russian oil experts, many people who've been in the oil industry have made a lot of money in Russia. I think it says a lot for Yuri that he wasn't part of that original privatization. He distanced himself from it, and as a result, he probably didn't have the benefits that have accrued to people who took a part in the early privatizations of the oil industry. And so he said, fine, okay, I shall make my business way outside Russia in the oil industry. And he's been spectacularly successful, and all credit to him.
And the last question, it's not about Shafranik, but it's about situation in Russia.
Yeah.
Now we have an election campaign. I'm not sure that I pronounce correctly. But how would you assess Russia nowadays from political and economical point of view? What is our future?
Well, I think Russia obviously faces a lot of challenges. And to me, there are two big challenges. The first is, how do you diversify the economy away from natural resources? Because while oil, gas, minerals are always going to be very important in the Russian economy, actually manufacturing, services, innovation, all of that is going to be critical as we go forward, as Russia grows. You can't just be an economy that relies on natural resources, at least that's my view. And the second issue is that I think that there is a growing middle class in Russia, a large number of people who for the first time ever in Russia's history have had a big stake in Russia. They own their own properties. And one of the things that worries me about Russia is that many of those middle class, the people who perhaps own their own property, are not investing in Russia. They're spending their money outside Russia, they're taking expensive holidays, maybe they're investing in their children's education. So to me, a big challenge for any Russian government is going to be, how do you get the people of Russia really committing to investing their new wealth, their new well-being in Russia and not outside? If a new Russian government can achieve that, then I think it will transform the Russian economy and the belief of Russians in the future of Russia.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Немножко посидите.